You're on.
Hello and welcome to the February 16th, 2021 Board of Works meeting. Dave Nutty is going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we having a little bit of technical issues, but I think we're getting it worked through, so please bear with us as we do that. We will begin with roll call.
Brian Daub,
Present.
Becky Gibson,
Present.
David Nutty,
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Here.
Okay. Everyone has the minutes from the February 1st, 2021 meeting and the February 3rd, 2021 e-vote. Is there any additions or corrections to that?
Motion to accept.
We have a motion to accept.
Second.
I have a second. Roll call vote, please.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nutty,
Yes.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Brian Daub.
Yes.
And this is for both.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, move on down to new business. I want to open the public hearing for the COVID-19 response program phase 3 grant application. I'll open it now. City Hall is open, but there is no one here. So, Greg, if you could explain the process here.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. The COVID phase 3 program recently announced by Okra received a 2-week time extension. So now the application, instead of being due February 26th, is now due on March the 11th. It gives us a little extra time to get things put together. The community, the Connorsville application will be for funding for 3 Wi-Fi hotspots. And the amount of money in the initial budget allocated for that is $53,750. There's another $190,000 that is being allocated for grants to businesses. And these are direct grants. It's not a loan. Grants to businesses that have been affected and have had a negative impact from COVID-19. So we're moving forward. The purpose of the public hearing is to gather input from any members of the public or answer questions from any of you on the commission. So I'll be happy to open it up. I'm recording right now. I'll transcribe minutes verbatim and they will be a part of the final grant application. Does anyone have any comments or questions about this application?
Yeah, Greg, you made a general statement that about 55,000 and Wi-Fi. Can you connect the two and explain what that meant?
Well, what I know is that the city has received estimates for the cost of installing these. I believe one of the Wi-Fi units none of this is set in stone yet, but tentatively is scheduled to be at Proctor Park. There's another one that will be in the vicinity downtown on courthouse property. And the third one, I believe, is downtown Connorsville, but I'm not sure of the exact location. The cost, of course, covers hardware. And it also covers up to a year of whoever the internet service provider is on those hotspots. It can cover up to, I take back, I said a year, I think it's 6 months worth of the monthly fees to cover the service charge.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, you talked about grants for the companies. What companies will qualify? I mean, I know you said that been directed by COVID, but are we looking more towards like restaurants or what type of business mainly is going to be?
That is a local call as far as if you do want to prioritize various companies that have been impacted more severely than others. Certainly hairstylists, Restaurants, as you mentioned, they probably in almost all of our communities were the most dramatically impacted. The only business that doesn't qualify would be not-for-profits. So you can be a sole proprietor, and on up from there, you can be one employee up to dozens or 50 or more. It is geared towards the small businesses, though, what we typically call mom and pop shops. The money is generally thought to be targeted to them because it's much harder for them to qualify for other kinds of federal assistance, such as PPP and so on. It's just more difficult for them to receive that. We do want to save our downtowns, and so this is also somewhat targeted to those downtown merchants, restaurants, and businesses of that sort. Doesn't mean we would rule out small manufacturing and so on.
How would we open up the application process, and how do they apply for those?
Yep. Once we receive the grant funding, we will, there is a committee that's been designated, and in your case, I believe it's the members of the Redevelopment Commission that would be the review and selection committee. The application would be made available. We would promote that in multiple ways on social media, as well as through the various media sources that are available in Connorsville, radio, newspaper, as well as the website of the city and so on. It's open to anyone and everyone. So we would hope that we would get a lot of applications, and the review committee then has the sole responsibility of how they determine what kind of scoring criteria they're going to use to determine who gets money and how much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else? Any other questions or comments? I'm sure there's a real need, especially on days like this. We see it when we need to expand Wi-Fi availability. And I'm sure the city would not have moved forward with that if there wasn't a need out there.
And this is a full grant. There's no matching.
Yes, we have the matching. We voted on it last meeting.
Okay. Yep. And that amount was?
2,000, I believe.
2,000.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It was Roberts Park is where it goes, the Wi-Fi. I think you said the incorrect name of the park, but Roberts Park
okay.
is one of them that's seeing the Wi-Fi. We're doing a north side, and then a south side to help the kids out with their school. So they got two different locations they can use.
Mhm. So
Any other questions?
with that, I mean, yeah.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I will close the public hearing, and thank you for attending, Greg, and explaining that, and let me know what our next steps are since it got extended. And you can leave, if you need to leave, you can leave anytime.
I will do that, and thank you, everyone, and we'll keep you informed. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on down to approval of the contract for the standby generator. Brad? You're muted.
Sorry about that. So this is basically just signing the contract books for the generator portion of the wastewater treatment plant contracts. This is part mostly funded by a SRF loan. We had some proceeds left over from the digester project down there, and we're getting this new generator put in. So what you have there to sign is a contract book that puts together all the insurance and just ties up all the loose ends of the agreement with Shamball.
It's sure needed, don't you think?
Yep.
Long time.
Yep.
So since this is Zoom, Rosemary, I'm assuming we need to just do an e-vote on this? I'm not an e-vote, a roll call vote? Or do
Yeah,
we need a vote? Okay,
just like we did everything else.
we'll go ahead and I'll take a motion to approve the contract.
So moved.
Second.
And a second, roll call vote.
David Nettie,
Yes.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Brian Daub,
Yes.
Becky Gibson.
Yes.
And you want to talk about the next one, Brad, the trash pickup at 635 Eastern?
That's it. You just told them. That's all I know about it. We have a new trash customer.
We just need to approve it for a tote for 635 Eastern Avenue.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Jim Bear,
Yes.
Brian Daub,
Yes.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nutting.
Yes.
The last thing there is a change order for construction inspection on the 7th Street project. We had a little bit of money left over on Memorial Drive that we can move over here to use on just to add a little inspection to that 7th Street project. It's not we didn't hire full-time inspection on that project, part-time, so this will just give us a little more time.
Motion to approve Brad's request.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Brian Daub,
Yes.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nutting,
Yes.
Jim Bear.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Move on down to department matters. Brad, you're up first.
I'm asking you for permission to hire a new full-time person at the office. We have a real good candidate and we just had a recent retirement. So we're looking to hire another full-time person.
Make a motion to approve his request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nutting,
Yes.
Jim Bear,
Yes.
Brian Daub.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Move on down to Clint. Clint?
Yes. You should have a copy of a retirement letter for Charles Mitchum, one of our paramedics, been with us 21 years, I believe, is retiring to pursue another opportunity. So I just need permission to, I did have a question as to what the PRN at the end means in the last paragraph. That just means he's going to stay on part-time. It's per required need, so as needed type of situation. So he will stay on part-time. So just need permission to accept his retirement.
Motion to approve the chief's request.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
David Nutting,
Yes.
Jim Bear,
Yes.
Brian Daub,
Yes.
Becky Gibson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I do have one other item that probably falls within this category, and because it happened so late and it was kind of a last minute thing, it did not get put on the agenda. What I spoke to you about, the truck that currently is down, we have a, let's see here. I wrote everything down but the year. I believe it's a 17 ambulance that was having some engine trouble. It's currently tore down. After talking to Brad, talking to Ford, talking to the mayor and a couple of the board members, the most economical way to repair this engine, instead of tearing it completely down and rebuilding it and putting it back together, is basically to buy a replacement engine. It's not something I really want to do with a 4-year-old truck, but from all the numbers, that looks like the most economical route to pursue. The labor alone on the low end, the very basement figure for labor for rebuilding that truck was $4,300. That's just labor. And that's not including what they were going to find when they started digging into this engine. And to buy and install a Ford rebuilt engine is $7,700 with a 3-year unlimited mile warranty. That's what, from all my conversations, that's been the direction that there were some other cheaper options, but they were engines we didn't know they were manufacturers, or we did not near the warranty. So that was kind of the route that everyone suggested, was let's go with a Ford remanufactured engine because of the warranty aspect. So I just need permission to buy that engine and have it installed.
Make a motion to approve chief's request.
I'm not a mechanic, but why would a 4-year-old engine be rebuilt?
That is a interesting topic. We don't know. The problem is in order to work on the E-Series, to do pretty much anything to the engines, as far as tear down, you have to take the whole thing out of the truck, because the engine sets half under the hood and half in the driver's compartment, because of the short nose of the E-Series. It's basically a van. So that is one reason the labor is so high. As far as what exactly is wrong with it, we still do not know. They've given me several different things, and they said by the time that you tear it down, the labor is just what's going to kill us on that. So, and the 4300 isn't the parts or anything like that. Why a 4-year-old engine goes bad, I do not know. I'm going to see if we can't get a follow-up to find out, kind of a post-mortem of the truck. I've also indicated that I'd like to speak to someone, and Ford has been working with me to put me in touch with someone kind of higher up the food chain, actually Ford corporate, so I can basically express my displeasure at having a 4-year-old truck that's needing a new engine. It does have 98,000 miles. That is a contributing factor as well. Repair versus replace. If we were talking a truck that had half that miles, we'd probably just repair. But with 98,000, you're kind of on that cusp of what is most economical in the long run. So
Yeah, and probably actual hours run probably quite a bit.
yeah, they do spend quite a bit of time sitting and idling, especially in this type of weather.
So did you mention, apologize if you did you mention what is going to be the cost or estimated?
Engine with installation, the only thing he didn't quote me was fluid replacement was $7,700.
I think there's a motion. I'll second that.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Roll call vote, please.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Brian Dobb,
Yes.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nutty.
Yes.
That's all I had.
Okay, I know it's already done, but the other factor to factor in was time frame. If we had to pull it out, rebuild it, Amos would be down for quite a while. Where an engine swap, they can get in and get it back a lot faster.
They said best case scenario is possibly Friday. I'm wondering with this snow if that hasn't pushed them back. But yeah, they were about half the time, I think, is what they kind of indicated.
We didn't want it down very long, so. Okay, move on down to the department reports. Go ahead, Clint, you're up first.
Oh, okay. You should have a copy of my monthly report, my mileage, kind of our bullet points there at the end. I'm still down one medic, still working on filling that vacancy. I do have somebody in paramedic school that will be graduating December 21. So we're going to continue to try to get people that want to go on to medic school. It's about an 18-month process. It is a long process to get someone through. One of the bigger name schools, hospital-based in Indianapolis, because of some reconfiguration and staff leaving, coming in, they're not even starting a program in 21. They normally always start August, September of each year. There's some overlap, but they're not even starting a program in 2021 now. They're saying the earliest will be 22 before they can get up to speed to actually start another class. So that kind of puts another little hitch in not just us, but the whole state that relies pretty heavily on that school. I'm sure everybody looked and saw overtime was way high, to say the least. But 90% of that overtime was paid in January, but it was actually incurred in December because of the way the pay periods fell. That goes back to our COVID outbreak. December is always a bad month. anyway. So it really killed us on the overtime. We received the IPEP grant, and he gave me the permission to order them. Those are ordered and on the way. AFG, Assistance to Firefighter Grant, it has been filed last week, was submitted. So fingers crossed that we hear good news out of that. And then on the second page of that, you should have it's a screenshot of something that was sent to me it actually came in through the police department's Facebook page, I believe. Compliment to two of our crew members in the fire department that was there about this came from an extended care facility where one of their patients ultimately did not make it, but just the way our staff and the fire dealt with them was a kind of emotional support more than anything. How much they appreciated it. These people that they take care of in the extended care facilities are like their family. So when someone is lost like that, it's a personal loss to them as well. And from all accounts, our crew recognized that and took that into account and asked not only their medical information but also about them as a person, and said made the staff feel really good that someone cared enough to ask a personal question about their patient. That's all I have on the monthly report. You should have a copy of my yearly report in a binder. I know there's a lot of information in there, and a lot more than we could ever get to in this type of setting. If anybody has any questions on any of it, please reach out to me and ask. I'll sit down and go through it page by page with you if you want. Some of the statistics, the age groups and things like that, I have to do for Indiana EMS for children, for that organization. It's tied to our certification through the state. So a lot of that I have to do anyway. So I go ahead and just include it with this report, just kind of a little supplement, a little something extra. But I say, if anyone has any questions on anything, please reach out to me, email, phone, text me, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Clint. Move on down to fire. Scott?
Good afternoon.
Hi, Scott.
Good afternoon.
Everybody should have a copy of my run report. We'll just, is there any questions over the actual run report first? We'll move on to the overtime. I was pretty much in the same situation that Clint described. Probably 3/4 of that is actually the last couple of weeks of December, which with the sick leaves that I have, plus peak vacation season. If it wasn't for that, we would probably be on par with last year's overtime rate. So that's the reason for the increase in the overtime this in the month of January. Software, I finally got my software up and going. We started using the reporting. There's several modules to the software, but the reporting module is what we started using February 1st. I love it. It's great for the most part. I think the guys really like it. It's simple. It's easier for me to run reports and go back and look up information. The actual monthly run reports that you guys see should look a lot different, hopefully beginning next month, and should have a lot of different information on it. So I'm really looking forward to using the rest of that. I did get to do my first inspection using that software. It was really nice. I was able to actually have the occupant, until I get my new tablet that is on its way, I could actually use my phone, and the tenant signed, the inspection sheet on my phone. I was able to email it to her right from my phone. Before, I basically would write down on a pad, any kind of violations, come back, get on my computer, look everything up, enter it in the software that we had before, print it up, and either scan it, email it to the tenant, ask them to sign it and email it back to me, or take it to them, have them sign it. So the new software is really great. I'm looking forward to using the rest of the modules on that we haven't got up and going yet. But last meeting, we discussed the possibility of me being able to sell some things around the department that I have that might be worth selling. The truck bed that we talked about, I don't think, after looking at it a little bit further, I don't think it's really worth trying to sell. I'm still working on trying to develop a policy that would allow me to be able to sell some items that are worth selling. So I guess just getting permission to probably just scrap that truck bed and be gone with it. I'm assuming I'd need permission to do that. So I'm gonna, if you guys don't mind me just scrapping that, that'd be great.
When you say scrap, you mean just sell it to the scrap yard?
Yeah. Yeah, that way. It's currently sitting out behind Station 1 out in the lot, so it'd be nice to just get it out of the way also.
Motion to approve the chief's request.
A second.
We have a motion, a second, roll call vote for Scott to get rid of the bed.
Yes.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nutty,
Yes.
Jim Barrett.
Yes.
We continue to do a lot of training. Assistant Chief Nate's doing a really good job organizing the training and getting the new guy trained. We currently have one firefighter finishing up EMT school, and I'm getting ready to start another one here soon, get him signed up. So the training's looking real good. I also got my AFG grant submitted last week, so fingers crossed on that. Hopefully I can get lucky and get that grant, get all my SCBAs replaced. That'd be really nice. And, you know, since that's coming up here in a couple years. So if we don't get it, we'll try again next year. So, but that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, Brad.
A couple things I wanted to tell you. We got a mutual aid agreement with the Everton sewer utility. Dave Nutty help facilitate that. Kind of puts them in a position where we can help them out. Maybe even a position where they might help us out sometime if we needed it. With all this COVID stuff and you lose employees, lose a group of employees, that's kind of handy to have for both of us. So I just wanted to report to you on that. We've got the monthly reports from the utilities and from the street department and the transfer station. I don't know if you've got any questions about any of those. And then I wanted to tell you about the annual reports. The one from the waste transfer station is pretty brief. We had 8,775 tons of waste this year go through the transfer station, and we had 519 tons of recycling. So you can see what not picking up recycling did for that number over the last year. Went down quite a bit. We served 10,618 customers at the transfer station last year. And then the utilities annual report that was put together by Mike. He did a great job. You can see that report's always a very nice report. I was going to point out to you one thing that I noticed in that report. I can find my paper. We had a few years back when I hired in 1985, we had 48 employees, and today we have 30. So you can see that we've really pared the numbers down at the utilities. I appreciate you giving me the permission to hire somebody. And we will continue to look at every position to try to consolidate and things in the future. But I think we're at sort of a bare bones number right now. Also, add to that 30, we have a part-time clerk in the office, and we have a part-time custodian that's a few hours a week in the office. And you know, through efficiency and consolidation, we've evolved and got that workforce number down quite a bit. An interesting thing that at one time we had in 1930, we had 4 people employed just to shovel coal. So we continue to evolve in the different things that we do. And in the annual report, there's also, it explains some of our programs like the MS4. It highlights some of our planning for next year, different things we're planning on doing, and department accomplishments. So if nobody has any questions about that, the only other thing I was going to tell you is that we're going to start to, we're going to hire quite a bit of summer help at the street department this year. If we can get about 10 summer helpers on board over the summer months, then that will allow us to be able to pave and try to pave some alleys next year. So you'll start to see that we'll be giving people opportunities to apply for those summer positions. I'd like to have a mixture of adults and youngsters. So you'll be hearing about that pretty soon. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Catherine.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay. So you should have my monthly report too. The biggest things from this month is the Lions Club shelter is done. And we're also moving forward with 2nd Street. We're waiting on some surveys to get done over there so we can keep moving ahead with that. I think I sent you a couple reports that got completed for River's Edge. One of those was the core program, and that's where Austin took all the focus groups and surveys that we did and compiled that into his report. And he also sent out a similar provider assessment, and that's where they looked at the surrounding counties as far as what they provide park-wise. So I don't know, did anybody have any questions about any of that stuff that they received? So that's our monthly report. Our yearly report, I guess I'll do a better job next year of getting this ready for you. I really would have liked to included some pictures and some different things, but the one thing I want to point out, the thing I'm the most proud of, this year we raised almost $87,000 in sponsorships and grants. And I've been here about 20 months, and when I looked all the way back, we've raised over $136,000. And the reason I want to point that out is because it's allowed us to do a lot of things that were not in our budget and that wouldn't have happened if we hadn't put that effort in. So facility-wise, it's allowing us to put in the disc golf course. It built the shelter out at Frazee. We redid the basketball courts at Offit's Industrial and at Roberts Park. The Lions Club put their shelter in. Major projects like 2nd Street and River's Edge, that was $50,000 we received from the community to push those projects forward. That's really amazing to me. Program-wise, we're going to run movies in the park, and that's all due to sponsorships. We didn't do it last year because of COVID. We had a really good trunk or treat. Sorry, my daughter's at the door. Anyway, we also ran the Read Fitness program. That was another grant. The list just goes on. And then it saves, the money it saves us from our budget, being able to do those things. Like we're going to put 3 new umbrellas in out at the pool this summer. Wouldn't have been able to do that without offsetting our budget with these grants and sponsorships. So next year, we're going to work on River's Edge and 2nd Street. Those are the top priorities. And working on things here in Roberts Park. I think public-wise, people will notice we're putting a fence in all the way around the shop area to make that look nicer. And then the umbrellas going up at the pool. People will definitely notice that. So I don't know if anybody had any questions about any of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Randy?
All right, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Randy.
Well, I'm glad to see I'm not the only one with the elevated overtime. As fire and EMS explained, it does take in part of the end of December, which the police department was hit pretty hard with some COVID, and it was vacation season. So, any questions on the overtime? All right, so if you guys look at our reports from last month, we stayed pretty consistent, pretty busy for January type of weather, but our guys stay active and do a pretty good job out there. As far as like ordinance violations, is everybody happy the way it's being presented? Do we need to add or change anything that you guys don't understand? Or I'd like to try to get it fixed or added now before spring, summer season comes along. So if there's anything you guys wish to see or improve on, just get with me and I'll make sure to add it in there. Okay, so along the lines of overtime, we're still down one man. He just left back for the academy. It's been an ongoing, he's supposed to have graduated like in January, and it's been on and off again because of COVID. So he's finally back in the academy for his last month and a half. Hopefully it all goes smooth and he can graduate. So we are still down one, but he is in the academy. Also, and you'll notice here in the near future, probably in a week or so, that our building here, City Hall's got a upgrade for security. So we're going from keypads to fob system. We'll see how all that works out. And we've got new cameras that are added around the building for added security. It's a nice system being put in by Hillfi. So you'll probably see that done within, I'd say, a week. If you have any questions with that, just get a hold of one of us here at City Hall. Also, real quick, as you know, we've purchased 3 vehicles, getting rid of finally the Crown Vics that we have. And now I'm just going to request that we can possibly take them back to auction, the Crown Vics and what we have back there that we replaced. I don't know when that'll happen. We're trying to get all our equipment and those cars on the road at this time. But when that does happen, we get them all out and all our Crown Vics parked back there. Just going to ask permission to auction them off the same way we did them last year.
I'll make a motion to accept the chief's request.
Second.
With a motion and a second, roll call vote.
Becky Gibson,
Yes.
David Nettie,
Yes.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Brian Dom.
Yes.
No other questions. I think that's it for me.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks, Rand.
John.
John.
Sorry about losing you earlier on. My computer rebooted several times, and I don't know why. I had Michael come over and take a look at this thing. For the month of January, we did 6 hours, 15 minutes of meeting production, 27 hours, 33 minutes of original production, which is a lot. That was predominantly, of course, basketball, as we were working hard to bring all of the boys and girls basketball games, the varsity, to viewers. That was January. Did you get the annual report from me?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any questions about it? I know there's a lot of information in there.
Now, I do want to make mention about you're talking about the original program, mostly sports. That's actually a great service to our opponents, those who can't come to the games. Their families, or whatever city they're in, can watch this on the internet. And so it's a great service to many. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually have had some comments from other schools that appreciated us putting that out for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's been very successful. Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you, John. Move on down to old business. Anybody have any old business? You need something, Rosemary?
I don't have my claims here, so I can't give you the totals.
Okay. Okay, we'll figure something out for that. We might have to do e-vote or something on that, Rosemary. With a snow day, Rosemary was not able to get here, so those numbers we'll put on e-vote on the claims. I do have some miscellaneous business. Anybody else have any miscellaneous business before I start?
Wanted to
Hey, I
appreciate
just want-
the Greek crew.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry,
That's
Rob.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job. I mean, I've been out a little bit and watched them and stuff, and I tell you what, they're top notch. Express our gratitude to them, all departments.
Mhm.
Everyone's working hard right now. Couple things I have is you're going to hear some talk from state legislators potentially on TIF areas. We don't really know what they're looking for. We have a couple ideas. We took a proactive approach from our redevelopment commission standpoint, and as we've always had a member of the school board there, but we went ahead and made them a voting member. So if people are questioning about what they're doing with TIF, and we think that's part of the problem, and Mr. Beard has always been on our redevelopment commission, been a great asset, great tool for our redevelopment commission. But we decided last meeting to make him a voting member. So just for information, we do have a voting member from the school board on our redevelopment commission. And that's a big deal, especially in regards of TIF. Becky, you understand that for being on the school board. And that's a pretty big deal. So there's not too many in across the state who have that. I'm not for sure how many have a voting member at all. So we have that now. So if you hear state legislators, if they question you or if you ask, we do have that now. It's a great asset to our redevelopment commission. Second thing you're going to be hearing about is the comprehensive plan. We are pushing forward with a comprehensive plan. We are moving to receive we applied for the grant for a second, potentially a second round because the first quarter's closed with COVID and it's been a nightmare with COVID. So I can't give you numbers on that. We're not going to vote on anything. We are pursuing that. We're working with the county on that as well, working with the APC. We're working with everybody on this to get this built and to get it done right. Klein Peter's going to be leading the charge. Klein Peter is very good at this. In fact, I believe just about all the people in his office is from Okra. And I'm also having direct conversations with Okra about it as well. So we don't know if the money is going to be available. That's why I can't give you anything, but we are still pushing forward on that. And it's really important that we get the comprehensive plan done. Without the comprehensive plan, that's going to hinder us from future grants. So we really need to get this done so we can have the plan. Also gives us a direction to move forward on, but it does need to happen in order to get some future grants. So those are two things that I want to bring your attention on our miscellaneous business that we're working on because I'm sure you'll get asked about them. So is there any other miscellaneous business? Okay. If not, we will not do claims. We will send out an e-vote on claims probably tomorrow since no one is here and we can't get the numbers. So we will get that tomorrow on e-vote. If not, I will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
David Nutty,
Yes.
Jim Barrett,
Yes.
Brian Dom,
Yes.
Becky Gibson.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe.
You too, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.